Hello everyone, I'm Alicia, Beadifulnights. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a really pretty beaded flower necklace. Now, I have several videos on beaded flowers, and I mean several. And I thought that I would just make this flower and tell you guys a little bit about it, of how I did it. But then, when I went to actually make it, I realized that, I tried making it several different ways, that I was going to have to do a video on it, because this flower is actually made pretty different compared to how I have my other beaded flowers. So I'm going to show you how to make this beaded flower, and what's also great about this is that I am using the beads from the dollar bead box. Remember I did a dollar bead box opening for the month of June? I am using 6 different items from the dollar bead box. I'm using the vintage German glass beads right here. I think they were called drops. I'm also using the pewter filigree pendants. And I'm using this butterfly, 2 of them. There's actually 3 that came, but I'm using only 2. And I'm also using the lentils, the daggers, and these top drilled Swarovski bicones. So I'm using 6 different pieces. And I didn't realize it when I got the box. I actually had no idea what I was going to make. If you watched that video at the end, I told you guys I didn't know what I was going to make. But after playing with it, I come up with 2 really good designs, so I'm really happy. And I love the color of the beads that they sent me. They're really nice. This is a really pretty mixture. This green, this tanzanite, and the, I think this was called opal, sky opal, something like that. But anyways, for this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make another beaded flower. This one is going to be different, and it is a little confusing, but if you can follow along, you can make this. So, oh, one other thing that I want to tell you. Remember when I opened the butterflies? They have a really pretty side here that's carved. Also, they have this really nice coating over it. But the back was completely flat and there was no design. So I told you guys I would have to figure out a way to use these so that they always stayed facing up. So what I did is I put the bead on a spool of wire. I did a wire wrap loop. Okay, I did not trim the wire, and I had an extra piece of wire sticking up here after I did the wrap that was about 1 inch long. And then I came over here, still having the wire on the spool, and I made a wire wrap loop, and I cut the length to match the other side, so they were about 1 inch long on each side. And then I made a flat spiral, and I brought it all the way down to the back of the butterfly, and I flattened it on the back of the butterfly, and I made sure that my loops were in the same position so that when I wear this, it lays flat, as you can see. So if you look closely, if you want to make it just like mine, study how I have my links there, and you'll be able to do it. Now, I used these chain links. They're fancy. They have a figure 8 shape to them. This chain is from Lisa. I also use this copper bead here. That's from Lisa. She sent me that. I almost said Alicia. But anyways, you do not have to have this fancy link. You can use regular Rolo chain. And if you want, you can go to Walmart, because right now Walmart has in stock antique copper Rolo chain, and they have it in 4 colors. They have it in a silver, an antique copper, antique brass, and a matte black. So I bought one of each color last year, but they still have it in their Walmart, and in Walmart, and I'm really happy about it, because Rolo chain is the best chain. You can do so many things with it. So anyways, that's where you can get your chain from. I'm going to show you how to make this flower, so let's get started. Here is the list of materials you will need to make a flower necklace. You will need 2.5 feet of 0.010 bead stringing wire. Again, you will need 2.5 feet of 0.010 bead stringing wire. Now, if you do not have this, you can use monofilament, and if you do, I recommend that you use 10-pound test. You're also going to need 24 3x4 millimeter Czech dagger beads. You will also need 18 6mm Czech lentil beads, and these have 1 hole, not 2. You will also need 6 6mm Swarovski top drilled bicones, and these are not the classic bicones. They have the top hole there, so they're very unique, special Swarovski beads. You're also going to need 10 seed beads, and I have two colors. I have my yellow and my green, and again 10 Do not use 11 They're too small for this. And for the rest of my necklace, I've already told you that I used the butterfly, the pewter pendant, and the German glass. Now for the wire, I did use 20 gauge wire for these two beads here because they have a large enough hole that I was able to. And for my metal beads, I used 20 gauge wire. But for the butterflies, 20 gauge is too thick. I had to use 22 or 24 gauge, I think it was, because the 20 gauge would not fit. So I had to use a smaller wire. And you're also going to need chain, of course, and I recommend Rolo chain. Like I said, you get it at Walmart. And you're going to need a clasp. And I think that's it. And remember, I always put the material list down there in the description bar. I will leave link for the dollar bead box and bag. And also I'll have some other information down there for you guys, okay? So, let's get started. I went ahead and I cut my 2.5 feet of bead stringing wire, or monofilament, whatever you want to use. And I'm going to start with the center of the flower. I'm going to pick up 6 10 seed beads. Okay, so right there is 6 of them. I'm going to slide 5 of them down. I'm going to crisscross my ends through the last bead, the 6th bead. Put these ends together, bring this bead down to the center till we have a circle like this. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up my 10 seed bead, a lentil, slide that down, and I'm also going to pick up 2 daggers. And these daggers, I'll zoom in some so you can see. These daggers have this pretty Aurora Borealis color on them, and I tried to pick them up in the same direction. So this side has the Aurora Borealis, and so does this side, so I'll pick them up like that so it's going in the same direction. You don't have to do this, it's just something that I do so the you know, all the pretty colors are on the top of the flower because they could be facing down. So I just picked those 2 up, and I'm going to pick up another lentil. Because of their funny holes, I have to pick them up by hand. And I'm also going to pick up a seed bead. And now I'm going to crisscross my wires through these 2 beads. Okay, just like that. Crisscrossing the wires, bring this down. Okay, and pull it tight like this. I've mentioned this before in my other videos. Whenever I work with this bead stringing wire, it's a little hard to get the tension just right, so we just have to pull it tight. So this is going to be the top of my flower because I got that Aurora Borealis there in the top, and that will be the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to continue weaving. On this string, I'm going to pick up 2 more daggers, and I'm going to pass through it like this. And this side, or this bead, only has color on one side, so I'm just going to pick it up like that. And then I'm going to pick up a lentil, and then I have to pick up a seed bead. Okay, just like this. And then I'm going to crisscross my wires again through these beads. Bring it down, and I want to make sure that this one that I added is pointing in the right direction when I pull it tight. So if I want this to be my top, I have to make sure that it's pointing up at the top like that. I'm going to take the wire that's on the inside of my flower and pass through the next seed bead. Just like this, and I have to be careful that it doesn't kink on me. Okay, pull it tight. And now I have this. I have 4 daggers and 3 lentils. Okay? So again, on my outside string, this one here, I'm going to pick up 2 lentils. Or not lentils, they're called daggers. Okay, so picking them up. And I'm being fussy again about having the pretty color on top. You don't have to. It's just what I like to do. So there's my 2 daggers, my lentils, my 1 lentil, and the seed bead. Taking my other wire, I'm going to crisscross through these 2 beads. Bring it down. And just like I did before, I have to make sure that the last lentil we put on is facing up. They should all be facing up in the same direction, okay? So pull that snug. I'm going to take my wire on the inside of my flower and pass through the next seed bead. It's right here. Just like that. Okay. So I'm paying attention to the color of the daggers, and you can see this is the top of my flower. See how the color of the daggers is, you know, really shiny? This lentil here is trying to go down on the bottom, so I just pulled it up there and pulled it tight so it's on the top. And now I'm going to take the outside wire again and pick up more daggers. There's 1. Here is 2. And then I'm going to pick up my lentil. Okay. And my seed bead. I'm going to crisscross my wires again and bring these 2 beads down. And again, I want to make sure that the last lentil that I weaved on is facing upward, like this. So now you can see I have 5 lentils and they're all facing in the same direction. And then here on the bottom, you could see my daggers. So I'm going to take the top wire again and pass through the next seed bead. And I may have to loosen this up again so it doesn't kink, like that. Okay, now I want to pull this really tight. Again, make sure that all the lentils are facing in the correct direction. And then I'm going to take the outside wire again and pick up my daggers. I got 2. And then my lentil. And then a seed bead. And I'm going to crisscross my wires through both of these and bring this down. And again, make sure that that lentil is facing outward. Okay, so now I have this. We almost have the top complete. I'm going to take the inside wire, pass through this seed bead, and if I can, the next one. But I might have to do one at a time because my wire is so stiff. So I'm just going to go like this and then through this here. Now I'm not just passing through the seed bead. I'm going through the seed bead and through the lentil. I'm going through 2. Okay, so pulling this down. And I have to be careful that this doesn't kink, but it's going to be a little hard because it's a tight place. Just pull that through there. Pull this tight. Okay, and now I have 6 lentils. And I have 2 daggers left. And I just noticed that my wire is loose right there. So, to fix this, I'm going to go back and pull this tight. If you have the same issue, open your last ring that you made and pull that tight. And then I'm going to pull this tight. Okay? And it should tighten up the flower. If you want, you can go back and pull the daggers in your previous petal to make it tight. This one right here looks a little loose. So pulling that one, pulling that one. Okay, I have it now. So now I have to put my last two daggers in. And I'm working upside down this time, so I'm going to pick the bead up like this because it's actually going to be laying like this. And I'll pick this one up in the same direction. And now I'm going to pass both of my wires through it and bring it on down. And pull it very tight. So now this is what the back of my flower looks like. And as you can see, it's all that purple color on the back. And then the top, I got my Aurora Borealis. So I just pay attention, you know, what direction it's going and when I'm picking it up, okay? So now we are ready to do the next layer of petals. So the next layer of this flower is a little more confusing. It is different compared to my other flowers. In my other flowers, I only use seed beads on the very top and on the very bottom. But this one, I'm going to have seed beads in between the layers. So I'm going to start the third layer, it's actually my third layer of petals, by picking up my crystal, a seed bead, just one, two jumped on. Okay, so those two beads there, I'll slide that down, and then I'm going to do a dagger, and let's see, I'm going to go in this direction, so I want the color to go that way, and I'm going to pick up two lentils, so there's going to be several beads in each weave. Okay, so I already have 3 there, and the next one I'm going to pick up is a dagger. Okay, so look at that. I have this here, that's my third layer. This is going to be in my fourth layer, and that's 4 beads right there. A dagger, 2 lentils, and a dagger, okay? And I'm just going to let those slide down. And then I'm going to pick up a seed bead and my bicone. And these are the 2 beads that I'm going to crisscross through. Both of my ends, just like this, and bring it down. Now before I pull this tight, I'm going to pull this here tight again because it loosens up. So pulling that snug, pulling this down. I hope you could see. Just like this. Pulling that tight. I need these 2 daggers that we added in our second layer to stay up. You do not want them to get stuck inside the flower. They need to be standing up so we can see them, okay? So right here I am crossing through the seed bead and the bicone, and here is my 4th layer of beads down here with my petals. I'm going to take this wire that's coming out the top of the bicone, and I'm going to pass through the 2 daggers that are right here. So it's coming out the top of the bicone, and right next to the bicone are these 2 daggers, okay? So I'm just going to go in to this side here and pass through the hole. I'm going to try to do both at one time. Okay, so there I go, and through there, coming out over here. I'm going to pull this down, and I need to make sure that this doesn't catch any of my daggers or any of my other beads, okay? Just like that. And again, you want to make sure that the 2 daggers here, the second layer, are sticking out. Do not let them go inside the flower. So pull this tight, and this bicone is probably going to want to go inside, and this is going to be the fuss that you have to deal with to make this flower, but it is worth it in the end, okay? So I'm just going to pull this snug, and this here will go outwards once I do the next section. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up daggers again, okay, and I'm going in this direction weaving, so I want my AB color on this side. I'm going to need 2 of these, 2 lentils, pick those up, and another dagger. Okay. So again, pick up 4 beads, a dagger, 2 lentils, and a dagger. Let those slide down. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up a seed bead. Now I tried doing it without the seed bead in this area, and this flower did not want to lay properly. And putting this little seed bead in this section made a big difference. Because I would normally not want the flower, because without the seed bead the flower looks really screwy. Okay, so I'm crossing through the seed bead and the bicone, and I'm bringing it down, and I need to push out my next layer of daggers, and I need this first dagger right there that we did to stick out. So when I pull this and you look from this direction, you could see the bicones. Did I call that a dagger? I meant to call it a bicone. So now you can see the bicones sticking out. They're going to be really pretty. Okay, so I'm exiting out of the seed bead here, and up here I'm exiting out of the bicone. So I'm going to push this out with my thumb. I'm taking the wire that's coming out of my bicone, and I need to pass through these 2 daggers, okay? So you can see my wire coming out of those daggers there, okay, going into this bead, and then this wire is coming up out of the top of the bicone. So I'm going to pass through these 2 daggers. Now this weave is going to look really confusing the further we go because of all the beads. But basically I'm going to be repeating what I've been doing in this layer here a few more times. Okay? So pulling this through, you want to pull slowly. You need these 2 wires to nestle in between the daggers. Before I pull it tight, I'm just going to put my thumb in there and pull that snug. See this dagger trying to go onto the inside? I'm going to push it out just like that. I have these 2 sticking out. All of those daggers here, they're kind of dangling at the bottom. That's correct. So now I have this, okay? So I'm going to take my thumbnails and I'm going to push this together and pull this tight. So I now have 3 bicones on, and then my lentils and the daggers there at the bottom. I'm exiting out of this dagger right there, and this is where I'm exiting out of that seed bead right there. So if you look, you can see the seed beads there at the bottom. Okay, that's what it should look like right now. So now I'm going to pick up another dagger with the string that's coming out of the seed bead, and then I need my 2 lentils. Okay, and then another dagger. Okay, so there's my 4 beads. Pick them up in that order right there. And then I'm going to pick up a seed bead and my bicone. My cool little bicone. These bicones are awesome. It's the first time I've ever used them. Okay, crossing through the bicone and through the seed bead. Bringing it down. Don't pull it tight. Make sure that all your daggers, mainly these 2 that you're surrounding, are sticking out. Make sure that is sticking out, and then pull this down. Okay, so there's a hole in there. See that hole? We're gonna fill that hole. When we go to do the bottom, all of these beads are gonna flip up and you won't even see a hole there. And these 2 lentils are gonna push those daggers up, okay? But they are gonna be moving like crazy until we get the whole bottom complete. So we constantly have to reposition them into the correct place. Okay, so now I have this. It looks good. I'm going to pull it tight. I'm going to take the wire on the top like I have before, exiting out of the bicone, and I'm gonna go through these 2 daggers that I'm next to. Okay. It's a little tricky to get in that hole, especially with a camera in front of me. Okay, now sometimes it only wants to go through one, but I'm gonna try to go through two because it'll get kinked on me. I know it will if I only go through one. Okay, I made it through. So there I am, going through the two daggers. Pull this through. Gently pull it down so we don't grab on any petal beads. Just like that. Pull this tight. This bead is going to have to stand out. It's being shy. Okay, now I have to pick up more beads. So, with this wire coming out of the seed bead, I'm going to pick up my daggers again. One dagger, two lentils, and a dagger bead. Okay, 4 just like that, just like we have been. Let those fall. I'm going to pick up a seed bead and a bicone. Boy, this last one is gonna look really strange because there's so many petal beads. Okay, so I have my 2 beads here that I'm crossing through, bringing this down. See how my daggers are wanting to go in there? Don't let them do it. Make them go out. Okay, pulling this down. This bicone's in the right direction, so I'm just going to pull this tight. All of my petals are sticking out. And I'm going to go around and show you this. See how this one's wanting to go down? Don't let it do it. Don't let it go inside. Okay, so here I am. I'm going to take the wire on the top again. Just repeating the same step over. I'm going to pass this wire through these 2 daggers like we have been. And it's wanting to go through just one, so if you spin it, even if you push one inside and pass it through, you can get through both. Okay, because I think if we only come out in the middle, that it will definitely get kinked. So I'm really trying to avoid that. Okay, so pulling this through. Again, gently pull it down because it'll get caught on your dagger. Is mine caught? No, it's just twisting it, okay? Just like that. I want to go back and make sure that the beads I added earlier in the same spot. Yep. This one's wanting to go in, but we're going to stop that. This one here is wanting to go in too. Okay, I'm going to pull this tight again. Pulling it tight. So, I only have this as my last bicone. So I'm going to continue on like I have been. Picking up my dagger, my lentils, a dagger, 2 lentils, and a dagger. Just like that, slide those down. I'm going to pick up my seed bead and then my bicone and crisscross through them like this and bring this down. And again, all the beads are going in all different directions. It looks crazy. It's like a porcupine. Okay, so I have those 2 facing up. All of those are sticking down. I need this to sit right there, and I'm going to pull this tight. Okay, so this is what it looks like from this direction. Now, I'm right here and I have to close this up. I need to make sure that my 2 daggers, my last 2 that are on the top, are sticking out. I'm going to put my finger in this. And looking back, I see that I have a dagger that just popped out. So I'm going to, or popped in, I'm going to push that out and check the other ones, and they all look good. Okay, so now I'm going to put my thumb in here. I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to pass through my last two daggers. And like I did earlier, I might have to flip one inward just to get through them. And then I'll flip it back out. If you're working with the monofilament, you can do one at a time, but if this wire gets kinked, it's gonna break, so I gotta be careful. Maybe if I put my fingernail there in the gap, it'll help get it into the other bead. Okay, and I got it through, but my wire is going, can you see that? Under that wire. So I'm gonna come in here with these tweezers and I'm gonna grab it and make it stop misbehaving. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna pull this tight because it got loose on me, and then I'm going to pull these beads down. This here is where it's most confusing, trying to get them all going in the right direction. Okay, I got those two daggers standing out. I'm going to pull this down, pull this tight. Okay, so my two daggers are standing out. All of my bicones are standing out. I'm going to check my daggers on the top. This one's trying to go in. So there's two all the way around. So here I am. My wire's exiting out of this bead. I'm going to pull this tight. And I'm going to go to this wire that's coming out of the daggers. This is the wire that I just put through those two daggers. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. Okay, I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to pass down through the bicone and through the seed bead. Just those two beads. See that? I went through there, through the bicone, and through the seed bead. Pulling it through. Okay, so now I have a wire exiting out of this seed bead and out of this one. These two bicones need to be sticking out. My two daggers need to be sticking out. And I'm going to do my last petal beads. So my dagger, lentil, second lentil, and my dagger. Okay, hold all four of them like this, take the other wire and crisscross both of your wires through all four of these. Grabbing the ends, pulling this down, and I want to go back and check. Everything looks good. That dagger there keeps going down, but once we get our bottom on, we won't have this problem as much. Okay, and I did forget to tell you guys that you need tweezers. I have two projects that I'm filming today, so it's a little hectic. Okay, that's what the top looks like. Once we get the bottom on, the green seed beads, all of these are going to be laying out flat and it is going to look beautiful. As you can see, they're all going inside there, but we're going to fix them. So now we have to put the bottom on. So before I continue, or we continue, make sure that your two daggers are all standing out. All your bicones are standing out. Now the bottom looks like a total mess, but don't worry, it's going to get better when we add seed beads. I'm going to take my wire, and I'm a right-handed person, so I'm going to pick up 5 seed beads. The first one I pick up is going to be standing up in this direction, and then the other 4 are going to be going in this direction. So this will be a cross through bead later. So here are the beads that are going to be on the bottom. Okay, so I'll slide those down. So that's 5 seed beads. And then I'm going to pick up number 6, which is going to be my cross through bead. Okay, just like that. Bring it down. Now, I need to push. This wire needs to go between the 2 daggers that are here below the bicone. Okay. These lentils need to come out. So I'm going to push them out like this. See how the dagger's sticking out? The 2 lentils, and then I have a dagger right there, okay? So now the seed beads are on the bottom, and the seed beads are forcing the petal beads to go out sideways. Just like that. I hope you can see that clearly. Okay, so pulling this tight, I'm going to take this wire, and I need to make sure that all of these are going in the same direction. So just like this, I'm going to hold it. The wire that's coming out of the seed bead going in this direction, I'm taking this wire right here, and I'm going to pass through this dagger. Okay, and the 2 lentils and the dagger, so through 4 of them. And I may have to have it go on the inside just to get through. Gotta pass through all 4. Okay, there I go. Through the dagger, the 2 lentils, and the dagger. Pull this through, just like that. These beads are escaping. They're escape artists. Pull this tight. I'm going to pull both wires very tight. Okay. And with my right wire, the wire that's coming out of the seed beads here, the green ones, I'm going to pick up 4 seed beads. These 4 will be laying on the bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to pick up a 5th one, and this 5th bead is my cross through bead. Bringing this down. I need this seed bead to sit in between these 2 daggers that are below the bicone. So just like this, and I need the lentils and the daggers to be standing outwards. So if you look from the side here, you can see them standing out, okay? Just like that. So now I'm going to take this wire, like I did before, and pass through these 4 beads. The dagger, the 2 lentils, and the dagger. I'll push this one on the inside so I can go through. Almost got it. I'm going through 4 beads at a time, so it's a little tricky. I'm going to push the dagger to the inside. That should make it a little bit easier for me. And if it does not go through, I will risk inking it, because I can't stand fussing with it for so long. Okay, I'm risking kinking it. Okay, so I got through 3. Again, I need my wire to go between those 2 daggers right there. Just like that. I just have this one pesky dagger that wouldn't let me pass through to go through. I wasn't able to get to the 4th one, so I'm going to pull my wire out like this so it makes a gap, and then I'm going to pass through that dagger. Okay, so to help prevent kinking, if I make a big enough gap between those 2 beads. Oh, I think I did it. That went pretty smoothly. Okay, so this bead, or not this bead, this wire is in the right spot. See how even my seed beads are going in there? It's like a sinkhole. That's what I would describe it as. And I live in Florida, where we have sinkholes. They're very scary. Okay, now I have this. I'm going to continue with my right wire that's coming out of the green seed beads. I'm going to pick up 4 seed beads. All those are going to slide down. Those are going to be the very bottom. And then I'm going to pick up a 5th seed bead, and again, this is my cross through bead. Bringing this down. And it's getting a little bit easier now when I bring the beads down, because they're kind of going in the right spot now. So there's my dagger, those 2, my dagger, and again I'm underneath the bicone between these 2, and I have to take this wire and go through these 4 beads. These 4 argumentative beads. Again, I'll flip that inside and see if I can go through it that way. Okay, this one's going to be a pain in the butt too, so I'm just going to do what I did before. Pull it through. Okay, pull that tight. Pull this side tight. I have one last bead, my 4th bead. I'm going to make a gap by separating beads like this. Pass through the last dagger. And this is actually wanting to go into the next dagger. So, I'll have to let that come back out and try it again, because I do not want to go into that next dagger. Okay, so here I am now, made it through. And again, I'm going to make a big gap here. Okay, that worked out great again. Did not kink. So here I am. My wire is now between these 2 daggers, and I have this one over here. So with the right wire coming out of the green seed beads, I'm going to pick up 4 seed beads again. And remember, those are my bottom beads. And then I'm going to pick up number 6, which is my cross through. Bring this down, and this time it just automatically went into place. So my 2 daggers and my lentils are sticking out the way I need them to. I'm going to stick my finger in here and pull these beads out. Okay, then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. See how they're starting to stand out on the side? Isn't that pretty? It's going to look so nice when we're done. It's kind of a little fussy thing to make. You have to argue with it, but once you get it, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful flower. And this flower can also be used as a ring, not just a pendant. So I'm coming out those seed beads again, and I need to pass through the dagger. But this seems like it's more at a sharp angle this time. Okay, so I'm going to pass through the dagger, the 2 lentils, and the dagger. Okay, I went through 3. Pull this down. Make sure, see how this wire is trying to go around the daggers? Make sure the wire goes in between the daggers. And make sure that your daggers are standing outwards. Okay, pull these wires tight. I have one more bead to go through that was avoiding me. So I'm going to separate this and pass through it. Passing through this daggered. Come on. Quit fussing with me. Okay, I got to the dagger. And again, I'm going to pick up 4 seed beads. Remember, that's the bottom. And then I'm going to pick up a 5th one. That's our cross through. Bringing this down. Making sure that it falls in between, the wire falls in between the 2 daggers there, and that these 4 beads are standing out. And they are. And now we're here. This is where we're going to close the bottom. Okay, see how our seed beads are sinking in? We are going to fix that, just like we have in the past, the other flowers I made. So I'm going to pull this very tight. Okay, and now I'm going to take this wire and pass through the wire that's facing down towards the bicone and pass through these 4 beads. And then I'm going to pass up through this green seed bead, the first one that we added at the very beginning of this. So let's do this. Okay, this one's being a major pain. Look at that, it's only going through 2 beads. Okay, so I'm going through there, and then I'm gonna go through this lentil and my last dagger. Pull this through. Okay, so I went through my 4, and now I have to take and pass through this 1 green seed bead. So I'm between the 2 daggers here above the bicone. I have this 1 seed bead. That's the very first one I added. Remember I said that will be a cross through bead later? Okay, passing through that bead, pulling this through. I now have both of my wires exiting out of the 2 green seed beads, and what I'm going to do is pull them tight as I can. And I'm going to make bails, 2 bails. 2 is best because we will connect a chain on one side and a chain on the other side, and this will prevent the flower from flipping. If we just have one, it's going to flip over. So I'm going to pick up 7 seed beads. I have 1 right now. I'm going to make a ring of 8. So I need 7 because I already have 1. So how many did I just pick up? Okay, I got my 7 right there. 7 green. I'm exiting out the back here, going in this direction. I'm going to come around and go through the seed bead again in the same direction. And what it's going to do is make a loop for us, just like we have before with other flowers. And that's 1 bail. Okay, very easy. Now I'm going to go to the other wire, pick up 7 again, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, double check, 7, slide those down. Again, I'm coming out the back. I need to go in through this direction. So I'm going to hold it like this and pass my wire between the two daggers and go through that seed bead right there. I hope you can see this. Just that one seed bead we're Xing it right now. We're just making a veil. I think it's trying to go through both. Okay, there's my wire. Pulling it down, going in between these two daggers, just like this. There's a veil, there's a veil. And look at that, those beads are automatically pushing out. I do not remember pushing those out. They're just doing it by themselves. Okay, I'm going to pull both of these wires tight. And now I'm going to pick up my last 4 and crisscross through all 4 of them and bring this down. Just like this. Okay, so all of these will be coming out now. I'm going to take my wire, and what I'm going to do, I have a wire coming out here and a wire coming out here. I'm going to pass through these and these. You're not going to go through the cross through bead, just through the 4 here that are at the bottom, okay? 4 there, 4 here. You're going to go to this side, go through these 4, these 4. You're going to go through these 4, you're going to take the other wire, go through those 4, and then you're going to have a wire coming out here and coming out here. So then we will have a thread path that goes all the way around, and it's going to bring all these seed beads together. So then we will tie knots here, 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 and here on that thread pad that's making a web that's going around. You'll see. Alright, I have this wire here. I'm going to go through these 4 seed beads. See if I could do all 4 at one time. Okay, and I did. It was a miracle. I think I did. Just wanted to go, the wires wanted to go downward into the sinkhole. Okay, there it is. Going through those 4. Just like that. Now I'm going to take the same wire and go through these 4. If you can straighten all those up in the line, then you'll be able to pass through them easier. See? So now I got this wire that's right there. I'm going to catch that and tie a knot on that later. I have to pass through these 4 here. Okay. If I get them all in a straight line, I can go through all 4 of them in one shot. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to go through to this wire and do the same thing. I have to go through these 8 seed beads. And I'm going to bring these tweezers in, make these beads stand up for me. My one of my 4s seed beads are hiding under my bail, so I have to get in there and get through that bead. Okay, there I am through all 4. Then I'm gonna go through these 4. And this one is trying to go down into that cross through seed bead that I told you about. Okay, then I have my last 4 right here that I have to pass through before I tie knots. Alright, pulling this tight. There we go. Look at that. Yes, we did it. It was an argument, but we won the argument. And this is what it looks like. Now see how some of the daggers are going down? That's because we were manhandling it. So I just take and lift them up. And if one does go into your sinkhole, you could take your tweezers or something, maybe a pair of pliers, and push it out. Just try as hard as you can to push that bead out. Okay. This one right here. There we go. There's just one more. The bicones are what's really making it stand up. And then the lentils, see how the lentils go in there, in that gap, and they push it. They push that bead up. Okay, so everything is now in the right place. I'm ready to tie knots. I'm just going to show you how to do it one time. I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to pass it right here. Right here's my little web I was telling you about, this little wire. We just made this little thread path right there so we could tie a knot. Okay, so passing it in there, I'm going to take my tweezers, grab it. I just made a loop. I'm going to pass through this loop just like this, and I'm going to try to do it twice. May have to be one time, but I'm going to see. It's at the back here. I have to pull both of my wires because what I'm actually doing is I'm tying a knot onto this wire. So when I pull this wire is coming through. So I have to pull both of these tight, believe it or not, and slide this knot down. Okay, and now what I have to do is take my wire, this one here, pass through these 4 and tie a knot here. And then take your wire, pass through these 4, and once you get it out, it'll probably be coming through here. Trim that off. You're done with that side. Come over here, grab onto that tiny little wire right there, tie another 1/2 inch knot, pass through these 4, grab this wire there at the top again, tie another knot, pass through these 4, come out and trim your wire off, and you're all done. And I know this little flower was kind of a pain to make, but it turned out really pretty, and it's going to look adorable on the necklace. And I'm going to show you what the necklace looks like put together. So I connected my flower here onto my beaded chain, and this is what the back looks like. I actually did 2 chain links to make it strong onto the bales, both sides, as you can see. Just open them up and put them on there. So this is what it looks like from the back side. It looks just like this. And having the 2 bales like that will prevent this from flipping when you're wearing it. So it's not going to flip on you. It's always going to be facing just like that, which is the best. Okay, so now I just have to put the chain to go around my neck, and I have to measure that. This is the chain that I was telling you guys about that Walmart has. It's antique copper, and I don't know if I've used much of it, but this is what I currently have, this amount. I should probably go back and get more because it's very inexpensive, and it's a really good quality chain. It's a really pretty chain. It comes with some clasps. I think it came with 3. I might have used 2 of them. I don't know. But anyways, this is what the chain looks like, in case you guys wanted to know. And this is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry you've made from my videos on my Facebook page, and follow me on Pinterest. Thanks for watching.